There was a decision that the Ottawa Senators had to make years ago. Whether to keep Wade Redden or Zdeno Chara. And at the time, fans and the team seemed to agree that Wade Redden was the defenseman with the higher upside and better offensive player. And we can all look back now and say, oh, that was a pretty stupid move that was made by them. But in reality, at the time, everybody kind of agreed it was the move to make. So Zdeno Chara signs with the Bruins, and I, as a Bruins fan at the time, thought that's a lot of money in term for one guy. Now here we are all these years later. He's coming off of this massive contract, which paid him $4 million this year, even though the cap hit's higher than that. And he just signed a 1-year, $5 million extension to stay with the Bruins for at least one more year. With bonuses, it could add up to an extra $1.75 million. And Don Sweeney's already said he could see them talking about an extension beyond next season as soon as, I think, July. Zdeno Chara has been a beast. And he has put up incredible numbers as a Boston Bruin. And, Norris Trophy, nice little added bonus as well. He's just a beast. Having seen him live a couple of times, he's a big guy, and he's his ability to cover so much of the ice just with his wingspan alone is impressive. He's deceptively fast for his size, and even though he's lost a step, and I know there's going to be people who say, well, he's lost a step. Right. But if you look at Boston's defense, and you got McAvoy, you got Krug, you got Carlo, yeah, keep Chara for another year. Makes total sense to me to keep Chara for another year. So I'm sure, and I've heard it all year, that Chara's passed it, and he should just retire. Here's the thing. He's not playing that number one role anymore in Boston. He's playing a more of a support role. And he's an excellent mentor to a Charlie McAvoy, to a Brandon Carlo. And to some extent even to Torrey Krug at this stage, although Krug's kind of moving into that veteran territory. It makes me feel pretty darn good as a Bruins fan today, because it means that that blue line, that solid blue line, will be together for another year. Chara's had a good year. He's had 23 points this year. I think it's 5 goals, 18 assists he's put up this year. Offensively, no doubt in my mind, he has slid a little bit. But defensively, he's still pretty solid. And maybe he's lost a step, and I'm not going to argue that he hasn't, but he is still a top 4 defenseman in the NHL. So today, the Boston Bruins did the perfect thing to do before the playoffs start and before we start having that debate about, oh, well, Chara's going to go. They re-signed him. So that's another year of Zdeno Chara in Boston, and as a Bruins fan, I'm very happy. If you're a Bruins fan, you're going to be happy. If you're a fan of other teams, and if you don't watch Boston games, you may not agree that he's as effective as he's been, but he's been very good this year. I thought last year, the first half of last year, I was very worried about him. I thought he'd kind of slipped back, and I thought it was time for him to retire. But this year, I haven't had that impression at all. And I'm very much looking forward to seeing Chara next year, because if Boston gets edged out in the playoffs this year, if they end up getting knocked out by a Toronto or a Tampa, I really think next year could be a big year for Boston. I think next year could be a huge year for Boston. To me, they're ahead of the curve right now. I think, honestly, they're ahead of where any of us would have expected them to be, and they look really good going forward. But we'll find out. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. And thank you so much for watching. I'll talk to you again soon.